Do you think that Mike Waltz made a mistake, and does he need to apologize?
No, I don't think he should apologize. I think he's doing his best. It's equipment and technology that's not perfect, and probably he won't be using it again, at least not in the very near future. What do you think?
Sir, I agree with you. Let's get everybody in the room whenever possible.
Telling his country to prepare for war. His words.
Criticism of seeing the administration with our allies and our partners.
Rightly pointed out would have never happened. You've been president.
Mr. President, are you going to change any of the practices that your national security officials used after a reporter was inadvertently added to a group chat about attacks on Yemen?
Well, I think it's a question I've been asked now, and I've given a few answers, and they've all been the same. Our national security now is stronger than it's ever been. We have had a very, very successful, numerous attacks on that area. There was no classified information, as I understand it, and I think I'll ask Mike. Mike is here. Do you want to respond to that, please?
Yes, Mr. President, you asked about lessons. I think there's a lot of journalists in this city who have made big names for themselves, making up lies about this president. And this one in particular, I've never met, don't know, never communicated with, and we are looking into and reviewing how the heck he got into this room. But I'll tell you what, the world owes President Trump a favor. And for once, as you all hear from every one of our allies, thank God for American leadership again. Thank God for American strength. You're welcome, world.
Respond to that, please.
Yes, Mr. President, you asked about lessons. I think there's a lot of journalists in this city who have made big names for themselves, making up lies about.
National security was put at risk, Mr. President.
Put at risk, Mr. President. Of senior officials using signal moving forward. The use of signal to communicate from senior officials.
Well, I don't know anything about signal. I wasn't involved in this, but I just heard about it, and I hear it's used by a lot of groups. It's used by the media a lot. It's used by a lot of the military, and I think successfully, but sometimes somebody can get onto those things. That's one of the prices you pay when you're not sitting in the situation room with no phones on, which is always the best, frankly.
It's apparently a real channel, and I appreciate them telling the truth.
That's an app that a lot of people use, and somebody got on. I mean, happened to know the guy's a total sleazebag. The Atlantic is a failed magazine. Does very, very poorly. Nobody gives a damn about it. This gives it a little bit of a shot, and I will tell you this: that they've made up more stories, and they're just a failing magazine. The public understands that. He's a very good man. That man is a very good man right there that you criticize so strongly.
So, are you going to change any procedures as a result of this?
This certainly will look at this. But the main thing was nothing happened. The attack was totally successful. It was, I guess, from what I understand, took place during, and it wasn't classified information. So this was not classified. Now, if it's classified information, it's probably a little bit different. But I always say you have to learn from every experience. I think it was very unfair the way they attacked Michael. He's a good person. The person that was on just happens to be a sleazebag, so maybe that's just coincidence. I don't know. The man that we're talking about, who's not somebody that I don't think most people have ever heard of. So he's made up a lot of stories, and you know, I think he's basically bad for the country. And a thing like this is publicity for them, but I don't think we should allow people that are very good, like that man sitting right at the end of the table, who's done a great job we shouldn't allow them to be hurt by it.
Reopen peace in Europe, as we just saw today with a Black Sea ceasefire we were just on.
That includes China. Has been very biased. The whole group.
The subcommittee on DOGE is going to review funding for NPR and PBS. Would you be interested in defunding and taking away taxpayer dollars to NPR and PBS?
Well, I would love to do that. I think it's very unfair. It's been very biased with the whole group. I mean, a whole group of them. And frankly, there's plenty. Look at all the media you have right now. There's plenty of coverage. I was from a different age, so the kind of money that's being wasted, and it's a very biased view. You know that better than anybody. And I'd be honored to see it end. We're well covered. Look at all the people that we have here today. We're well covered, and we don't need it, and it's a waste of money.